Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I edit my Instagram pictures. If you didn't know, I'm also a creator over on Instagram. I share fashion and beauty content, so those are the types of pictures I'm taking and editing. I think my pictures are pretty bomb if I do say so myself, so today I'm going to show you exactly how I edit them so that they look amazing individually and also to give me a really nice, cohesive, pretty feed that is super eye-catching and that will get you noticed. The number one thing I do to help out my editing process actually starts even before I have a picture to edit, and that is make sure my lighting is just on lock 100. I have the best possible lighting when I'm shooting. My preferred lighting is 1 natural light and then 2 overcast weather, so kind of like we have right now. Bright, but we have clouds. I just feel like the clouds diffuse the light really nicely and you just have this soft, even light everywhere, and it's really pretty. I find that even my camera quality really comes through when I have that lighting specifically. So that is my preferred lighting when I'm shooting. I just get the best quality pictures, and then my editing process is just super smooth and really easy. I'm gonna edit a few pictures with you guys. When you're watching, focus on the techniques and the tools that I'm using more so, because obviously every picture I don't have an exact formula where I can tell you like brightness at 10, warmth at whatever. There's always a different formulation. I'll just show you the kind of tools that I'm using and the kind of techniques that I use to make my pictures stand out and just look that much better. Oh, and I forgot to say, my pictures are shot on a Canon T3i with a 50mm lens. So right away the quality is really nice and crisp. I do also occasionally shoot on my iPhone. The iPhone does compete. If you go on my feed, I don't think you'll be able to tell right away which ones are iPhone versus the regular DSLR. The 2 apps that I use to edit, I only use the 2. I use Snapseed and Facetune. Enough talking, oh my god, let's get started. Go into Snapseed. I open up a picture, so I'll go to that album. Let's start with this one because this one is a nice easy edit. This is a beauty shot that I took and really good lighting, I would say. I open it up, I just kind of look and see if there's anything obvious that I know I want to change. I know I want the colors to come through a little bit more, and then on this side I'm seeing like this hair coming from what looks like my eyes, so I want to get rid of that. So I hit tools on the bottom there, and then tune image is usually the first thing I go for because I want to make my lighting changes first before I do anything else. Tip when you're editing, make sure you put your brightness all the way up so that you really see what it's looking like. I wouldn't do anything with the brightness for this one. I would go straight into ambiance. I really like using this. Most of the time I turn it up, but sometimes for some pictures I actually do turn it down and I feel like that looks better. I'm gonna go to, let's say 20, and then tap to the before and the after. Do you see that it like enhances the colors, but it doesn't do it in as much of an obnoxious way as saturation does it, I feel like. I usually tap on and off to see it, and I feel like that's good. I tend to always bring it back down, even when I think it's good, just bring it down like to 15 maybe. I think that's good. I want to go down even more, I think. Let's do a 12. That's my favorite number. I don't think I want to make any other changes to this picture because if I do any saturation, it's just gonna be too much. Like I'm just an Oompa Loompa at that point. Any warmth also would just make it too orangey. I'm gonna hit the check mark and we're good. And then I'm gonna go back into tools, and I use the healing tool a lot. There's always like these little specks, or most of the time it's my hair that's just like, there's always a strand somewhere. So I'm gonna zoom in there and just get that strand. And my tip when you're using the healing tool is to go in as much as you can, and sometimes I do it in sections because I feel like it cleans it up a little bit nicer. But also when you're about to hit a point where like, see where the hair was then touching my eyelash, I don't want to edit my eyelash out, just the hair. So I try not to get too close to that, otherwise it just gets like blurry and like it just doesn't do a good job. When I use the healing tool, I'm being like extremely picky. Like I'm crazy like that. No one was gonna notice that hair, let's be real. I just feel like the cleaner your picture looks, like that's how you get them to stand out when they look really crisp and everything is just like. I am gonna be anal and just edit this random white hair that you're seeing. And I'm fully exposing myself, like my hair was obviously dirty, so I have like a few flakes and stuff in my hair. So I'll take the time to tap some of those out with the healing tool, especially the ones that stand out. While I'm doing this, you'll see me zoom in, zoom out, because sometimes you'll edit like while you're zoomed in and it looks fine, and then you zoom out and it's like, no, you can tell that that change was made and it's not very nice. So I'll definitely like double check. This hair bothers me as well, so I want to try to edit it, but it goes over the lapel of my blazer, so that might be hard. But again, you just want to zoom in as much as possible and then really just get your finger just right on that line. When you zoom out, you realize that you lose the texture of the lapel, the line of the lapel, which obviously looks fake and looks edited. So I'm just gonna tap it right here where the hair is still on the lapel, and I'll just leave it because it's not that big of a deal. Another thing I will tap out occasionally is just like little spots. I'm really not a fan of like really smoothing out and just erasing absolutely every little bit of texture in your skin. The world has already done too much with Photoshop, and texture is natural and it's okay. So I only tend to tap out spots and stuff that aren't usually there. I won't smooth out all my texture, and you'll see that when I edit on Facetune. But if I have a spot that's like obviously not normally there and it's bothering me in the picture, I'll let myself tap it out. So I'll just tap out a few in this picture. Like see this one, this black mark that I just tapped right now, that's always there, so I'm not gonna tap that out. But this pimple, for example, it's currently not there, so I'll tap this out and I'll tap the one next to it. Once I've tapped the few bumps out, I hit the check mark, I'm good. And another trick I use, which I will show you, when you have a ponytail, you know sometimes like it pulls on your hair like right here, and you just have like that gap that's not always the most flattering. This is how I fix it. I go into, whoa, I did that way too fast. I go into tools, and then I go into brush, automatically loads onto dodge burn. So I'll go down on dodge and burn, oh my god, I can't say that. And I'll go to -5, and it actually darkens whatever you draw on. So I'll go into the spaces between my hair and just kind of darken those up like ever so slightly. Do a few strokes like really lightly on it so that see those bald spots as much. So I'll just do that just to fill in my hairline a little bit. At this point I'm pretty happy with the picture, like this is fine. Is there a bunch of hairs up here that I could edit? Yeah, but am I gonna do that? No, because like as much as I want my picture to look really crisp and really like nice and everything, I also want an element of reality and like this is just the way it looks. And not everything is perfect. My hair never actually looks like super perfect, and I have like not a hair in place. So this is fine to me. I can stop there. Oh, actually before I export, I want to show one more thing that I do. And that's again with the brush tool. I really like this tool because you can really target the areas that you want to edit. So just like we did with dodge and burn, but this time I'm gonna go with exposure and I'm gonna bring it down. I never like to do a 0.7. I feel like that's always too harsh. I just want to brighten the background ever so slightly. I like that it's a little bit gray. There's a little bit of darkness because I don't want to look like my head is just floating in space, but I feel like it could be brightened just that little bit. Brushing over the background lightly. I'm not gonna go over it like a ton. And then I'm gonna go down to erase and just erase what got onto my hair because I don't want any sections of my hair looking brighter than the others. Just like that, that's it, ever so slightly brighter, and I feel like it did just that. Happy with this picture. We're gonna export, so I hit save and modify, so it actually modifies like the original picture, and then I can exit out of Snapseed and I'm gonna go into Facetune. The main thing I use in Facetune is the retouch tools. So I go into retouch, and the first thing I usually go to is the smooth tool. With the smooth tool, again, I'm not a fan of like super smooth out, like perfect looking skin. When I use the smooth tool, I go really like, I zoom in into the spot that I want to smooth as much as possible, and I just try to smooth like that very section. For example, here I want to smooth out the little bit of lines under my eye, so I'm gonna zoom in like that close. Gonna smooth those lines right in there, but I'm not gonna do that entire area. I also like to smooth like this part of my eye, you'll see me do, is because where that darkness starts and ends, I don't like that harshness. So I just go in and kind of like do the job that my concealer was really supposed to do. And on this eye, I'll go in and smooth just this line and these little lines under my eye. I'll do the same with this little laugh line of mine, and it's not about smoothing them away, it's just like trying to soften their appearance because cameras either like highlight or they don't pick up things enough. So I'm just trying to smooth the things that I want it to highlight less, and then I will detail the things I want it to pick up less. I've smoothed out everything that I want to smooth out, but I won't ever leave it at 100. I'll always bring it down even if it's to 90, 80, but I tend to stick around the like 60, 70 mark. Today, I don't know, we'll just throw it at 65. Honestly, it's just like depends on my mood and like what I'm feeling. We'll leave it there. This is the before and then the after, super subtle. And then we'll go into details, which is my favorite tool on Facetune. I just think think like this tool is genius. For a beauty image, I will always highlight or detail my eyebrows and my makeup, my lashes and all that, my eyes. I like to detail any highlights on my face as well. So even on my lip, you can see there's like a little bit of light right here from my lip gloss. So I'll touch that up. And then I'll also zoom into my Cupid's bow. I always put a little highlight there. So I'll just tap on that as well. Then I always go into my jewelry and highlight those. I like to highlight my hair, but this isn't the best shot to show you how I typically highlight my hair. We'll do some details here and then I'll show you in another picture. But for this one, I did my baby hairs, so I'll highlight that a little bit. So we have a little bit of like shine that I'll highlight on the pony. This is the picture with the detail done, and the details automatically go to 50, but I would never leave it there. If you look at my eyes, it looks so cartoony to me, and I don't like that. I want my pictures to look realistic but polished. So I will always bring it down. I typically bring down details to like a 30, and then I'll do like the before and after and see if that works. I still feel like it's too cartoony and too strong, so I'll bring it down to a 10, and that I can live with. I think that's fine. Ooh, I also like to highlight anything on my body that I like any of my features. So this little beauty mark I think is really cute on my finger. There's also another thing that I like to detail in my images, and I could do it here, but I'd rather save it for the next picture. That's a fashion picture, so we'll talk about it then. Otherwise, that's good. I think this picture is good to go. So I would just hit the check mark and then I would save it, and that's the editing done. Let's go for a more challenging one. Let's go for this one, which was shot in not the best lighting and also on my iPhone. Right away, looking at this picture, you can see it's definitely missing light. There is graininess coming through. The quality isn't as good as like the last one, for example, and the other ones that I typically take on my DSLR. So I know right away looking at it, the lighting needs a lot of work. I'll hit tools, tune image, and we're gonna start working on the lighting with brightness. So I'm gonna turn the brightness up, and see, I like that it's brightening the picture, but I'm then also turning gray. My skin and everything else is losing color. So I'm gonna stop at the 30 mark, and then we're gonna go to ambiance. That's gonna add a little bit of color. So you can see that color starting to come through. This picture really needs it, so we're just gonna keep climbing. I think I'm gonna stop at a 60 and try to bring the color back in different ways. I'm gonna slide back up to saturation and try to saturate slightly. Yeah, see, it's just bringing life back into the image. I was looking really gray and corpse-like. Look at the difference already. Look how drastic that is. I actually think the saturation is too much. I'm gonna put it back down to a 10. We can always increase it after if I feel the need to. Let's keep it there. I feel like I want to bring the brightness back down, even though it's not a bright picture, but do you see how much grain is coming through? See if I can bring it back down to that 20 mark. I think that still looks good. We're gonna go maybe to contrast and see if we can add some more of that darkness and contrast. Like, I hate when you brighten an image and you lose the blackness of the black things. So like my blazer, for example, was nice and dark, a true black, and then you brighten it and it just gets like this graininess, which I do have a trick on how to fix that I'll show you guys. So I guess I will leave the brightness at a 10 just to say we did it, but I'm not sure that it's helping me out so much for this shot. Highlights might be able to help. I feel like highlights brighten a picture without like, I don't know how to explain this. It brightens it without doing it the traditional brightening way. I don't know. I like to use highlights occasionally. I feel like it gives me the brightness without like ruining other aspects of the image. Let's just, again, we'll throw up highlights at a 10. I'll just hit the check mark and deal with other aspects. We'll come back if we need to. You notice this picture has like this green cast. The overall color of the picture is like leaning towards the green side. What I do to fix that is go to tools and white balance, and I'll slide up to tint and I'll play with the tint. So if it's green, you want to go right to add more purple tones and balance it out. Slowly slide it until it feels like the green is gone and it's evened out. I feel like right here at 6, it's really good. You can see that that green, especially in the background, has like really toned down. I'm gonna leave it here. I want to brighten even more, but I didn't like what the brightening was doing to the overall image. So I'm just gonna go into brush and just brighten only the background. I hit exposure, go down to the 0.3, and we're just gonna brush the back wall. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, just a touch of brightness back there. It just evens everything out a little bit more. Let me hit the healing tool real quick. I'm gonna zoom into here. This white speckle is driving me nuts. I think for now, this is as much improvement as I can get with this picture. So again, if I hit the before and after, I feel like that's progress. Let's bring it into Facetune and let me show you this trick that I figured out. I don't know how, but it significantly improves the look of the image. I open it up, I go to retouch, I go all the way into glow. I used to just use it like on my skin sometimes, just to bring that color back into my skin. And then for some reason, I ended up doing it to an entire picture one time, and I was like, oh my God, look what it does. It just like brings the smoothness and quality back to the image that I'm like, oh, okay. Obviously wouldn't leave it like that because it's way too cartoony, but I bring it down. And do you see, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like it looks so much better. I think a 40 might be too strong. Let me bring it down to a 35. I don't do this to all images, obviously, but for this one, I did it when I was first editing it, and I just found that it smoothed out some of the graininess, and I was very happy with figuring out this trick. I'll leave that there, and then I'm gonna go back to smooth. Again, I'm gonna smooth out the same areas that I did, and then I'll go to the detail again, detail my brows, my eyes. This one, I like the shadow that I had under my lip. I feel like it made my lip look so full. It was really nicely captured in this image, so I wanted to emphasize it. I guess I'll start to show you this trick that I do. What I do is use the detail tool to detail my clothing, and I feel like although it's not the most intense before and after effect, that it really brings like that extra bit of quality and detail to my pictures, especially because I am showing clothing. I really want to highlight the clothes and show the texture and the movement of the clothes. So I like to go in and highlight the creases. So for example, here I'm zooming into the turtleneck of my sweater dress, and I'm gonna just go into the line, and do you see how detailing it darkens it so it gives it more depth, so the folds look more realistic, more 3D. I want my image to like jump off the page for you to notice it as much as possible. So I go ahead and like detail those creases. It just gives a lot of texture, brings like that movement aspect into the picture a little bit more. I just want you to feel like you can tell what that texture is that you're looking at. I'll go in and detail little areas where there's folds and just like detail little areas of the clothing. This bag, I'm obsessed with it. I always detail the hardware so it stands out more. This is not the best image to show you because it's just not that good quality, so it doesn't stand out as much. I will do this on other pictures as well. I also did, for this picture, take the time to detail some of the polka dots on my tights. I won't now, you'll see like the after picture. I will also, again, bring the detail down to 30. For this image, I will actually also use matte. I just go in and brush on areas where I feel like I'm looking a little bit more shiny, where there's just like an excess of light on the tip of my nose, the cheek area, and on the chin right here. But I will never leave it at 100 because I feel like that just looks really bizarre. I'll bring it all the way down. That is perfect there. Let me just quickly show you something else I like to use on Facetune. Go back to like the main menu and you'll slide over to paint. I like to select either this color here or this one to use to just emphasize my blush. Zoom into my cheek area and just tap like super lightly. Add a little extra blush on so it's a little bit more noticeable. Such a slight difference, but I just think it's really pretty and it just more color to your face. Usually with blush, I'll leave it to the max because I'm not doing a lot. I'll show you the before of this image and the after. I'm telling you, that glow tool is just it, okay? Happy with that, and I'll save it. I'm gonna go back and bring the edited version into Snapseed. The thing I forgot to do was to darken that blazer. I was talking about how I don't like that the brightness takes away the blackness of the blazer. What I do to bring that back in is to go into brush and use that same dodge and burn feature that we use in my hairline in the last picture, and I'll just go over the blazer. You can see right away it's bringing the blackness back. If I show you, I'll hit the check mark and show you guys the before and after just of that blazer. So that's that picture edited. Let me know what you guys think, and especially what you guys think of that glow feature. I think it's so good. I just want to show you one more example of why the detail tool is so good on Facetune and why I like it so much. I'm going to show you with this picture for my hair. See how the light is hitting my hair in different areas here? I want to intensify that so that it looks like my hair is super glossy and healthy and just pretty, and it really pops off the page and stands out. Go into the detail tool and I'll just go on to these sections and just highlight them. And if I just leave it like that, do you see how intense that is? So here's the before and after. and I'll show you like where exactly I detailed everything, where those blue lines are. So this picture also was a good example of how detailing your clothing will look really nice and just make these stand out. Because this bag is white and it's like on a white background as well, I wanted to detail some parts so that it stood out a little bit more. So I had gone and made these areas just darker. This is really like drawing. You're just emphasizing your shadows so that you have an item that just looks more 3D. See how much that really just makes it pop that much more, makes it look more 3D. So I really love doing this. I just feel like it brings this texture into the image that just wouldn't be there otherwise. This is how I edit my Instagram pictures. I hope you guys enjoyed and found some good techniques that you'll be able to use as well. Obviously follow me on Instagram for some more inspo, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.